All right, passport appointment is soon, so I gotta run through this. I wanted to start with this work by Dan Control because there were so many to choose from that I just needed something symbolic of this whole scene. So this was it, a roaring tiger. Welcome back, everyone. Artist Journal, March 6th, 2023, broadcasting to the world from a snowy Berlin, Germany. My name is Adrian Pocobelli. Welcome back. So as I was saying, we have to run, but I mean, it's insane. You're going to see so many pieces that could have started this show. It is insane. So anyways, Dan Control with for lack of a better term, a surprising work, something a little different. So that is super duper cool. And applying the gradient technique to a roaring tiger. This is on foundation. And let's just take a look here. It is a reserve of 0.6, so it's not cheap, but Dan Control probably has some money to make back, and it looks like it's totally worth it. So anyways, beautiful work here from Dan Control, available on Foundation. Tribute to Antonio Ligabue. He was an Italian painter and one of the most important naive artists of the 20th century. So endless learning over here. We're going to have to come back to that. I want to see when this goes, which I'm sure it will. We're going to have to see the original of that. Big thank you to Joshua, also known as Aw Heck, who reinvigorated my super rare page, which hadn't seen, the weeds were growing on the super rare page. So thank you, Aw Heck, at Aw Heck, Joshua, for picking up Coinbase here, the last of the screenshot series that I did way back in 2021. During the height of the bull market, when Coinbase was doing their IPO, I was doing a lot of screenshots. It's a whole other series. I have unreleased versions, frankly. Anyways, I'm thrilled to sell this, and thank you for the interest. I'm going to do some more drops on Super Rare actually pretty soon. I just finished up a piece as well. So let's see. Went for 0.2, so thank you again for the interest. Thank you for the comments, everybody. Marcelo's work brings me back to early memories of early hen. Yeah, Marcelo Pinel, who we started the last episode with, he is one of those artists that you see very early on and who just kind of persuades you that something important is going on at hand or object or whatever the case may be. So thank you, Mergem Delire, and Scomra with another comment. Great show, thank you. Patrick Amadon had a tweet today about Super Rare needing an overhaul. I thought it was interesting in the context of the Foundation curated spaces, kind of the conversation of the moment, at least on this program. So I looked up the tweet in mind just to get because I'm curious, and thank you, Scomra. Interesting. So this is the tweet that Scomra was referencing, I assume. Super Rare is dead without a complete overhaul. Artists can't own their own contract. I don't know if that's true. Like, I can create a contract now with Super Rare. I did that with the Peloponnesian War piece works. But maybe, I don't know if there are custom contract options, but I can decide the name of the token, for example. So I don't know, maybe this is referring to something more specific and technical that I'm not aware of. But I thought you could create your own contract. No discoverability to justify fee. Yeah, they don't promote you as much as they used to. Maybe it's because they have too many artists. But there was a time where at least you had like maybe a 10% chance that you'd get retweeted if you tag them or put them in the Instagram. And you don't get the sense that there's a big push. Diminishing brand value each day, well, that's subjective, but one could argue that. Spaces are confusing and make curated works hard to find. It's just chaos. So, I mean, a pretty harsh assessment, but I don't disagree that spaces are confusing. I don't think I've ever actually been to a space on Super Rare, which maybe says something in and of itself. I don't even know. Maybe it's on the homepage. So, I mean, I think the spirit of this, I would probably use kind of less bludgeoning language, but I think the spirit of this is maybe, partially true. They probably do, and they probably realize it. And in their defense, I would say they've taken a lot of strides, say like in the fall, to bring on, say, Tezos artists and to open it up. And maybe with that comes, there's a lot to do with any of our projects, whether it's an art project or a platform. But I would say I have seen them take strides, and I think they've even said, like, space, that things need to be overhauled. So anyways, interesting comment. I like this one from this morning. It may feel like art with your friends, but we're defining the ecosystem for the thousands of artists who will follow us, so the choices we make and ethos we establish is important. I agree with that. Definitely. Patrick Amadon. So follow him. So Pablo Poncasso. Okay, back to the disruption of Super Rare, one could argue, by Foundation Worlds. Pablo Poncasso, I've received a ton of DMs about joining Poncasso World, which is the curated space on Foundation by Pablo Poncasso, which is doing remarkably well. Unfortunately, there is no application process. We will just reach out and ask if you'd like to join. Much love. I would love to include everyone, but simply can't. So all to say, this is pretty popular. And it is kind of funny, like, in a sense, this was meant to disrupt a black box, but you almost see, like, as this develops and people want to be in, well, it turns into another kind of black box. It's like, okay, well, just the people that we want. So anyway, it doesn't make it any less exciting what's going on, though, with these curated spaces. And look at this. So more innovation here. Pablo Poncasso, next Poncasso pass drop will be Where's Rare. So I guess if you have a pass, details to come, but pass holders get a free drop. Poncasso World auction winners get a allow list to buy before public mint around 3 weeks. So this should fund things if you all of a sudden have a pass. So what I like about Pablo Poncasso is the innovation and really kind of running away with this opportunity that Foundation Worlds has presented by being able, what they've done by opening up the curation. And Pablo Poncasso seems to be at the forefront of the innovation there with Foundation Worlds, or the curated spaces that are open to everybody, as far as I understand. And finally, I'm going to do everything I can to help artists in my world sell art. Super Rare won't do that for you. Do you understand the power of Foundation Worlds now? So a lot of criticism of Super Rare. I mean, yeah, and I'd say, like, also to Object, though, like, this curation thing, which we've kind of been going over and over. I think this week's spaces all make curation the topic, because it seems to be, the topic of the moment here. And I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of interesting ideas there. So anyways, all to say, yeah, like, if I'm a curator and I put a bunch of works onto a Foundation World and I'm getting 10%, it's kind of like the equivalent in the corporate world of having salespeople. Because all of a sudden I want to make that sale, so I get that commission, right? So I'm finding all the artists I can that I think are going to sell and that look great and are good for my name. And then I go out there and I sell it to get my commission. So that's kind of what's beautiful about this. It kind of opens up a sales model, right? And maybe that's like the kind of crazy innovation that we might see here, and that Pablo Poncasso was referring to in the power of Foundation Worlds. So this is also interesting. So this is a work by Sabato. It's pretty long. I don't think we can show the whole thing. 3D Tetris. Gizmo Boy, but Sabato is sold for 0.77 ETH, which is really good. So what's interesting, and here's 69 games on the Gizmo Boy. So he's basically using AI, created with Midjourney V4 generative image AI and processed with Photoshop, Deluxe Paint 4, and Graphics 2. So some retro tools and Photoshop. Pretty cool, ambitious work. So, I mean, there are 69 different games here. Maybe I'll reload this just so you can see the front, because this is the cover is kind of super cool and everything. 69 games inside, and then it goes through all the games. So go check that out. But you see, Sabato puts out a work on Foundation, gets over $1,000 for it. Clown Vamp and others, E4C4 gets it. So, kind of like, and cool dithering and everything. I love how he's exporting everything. So here we go. And look at how that's a lot faster now. And so there's 69 works. So it's actually a pretty good deal here. There's pretty good value here, because you can make a whole, art exhibition out of this. If you print it out or put screens of every one of these, I mean, you'd have too many works. So anyway, and just one last thing I'd like to mention on this is I really like how Sabato's playing with what I'd argue is part of the fastness of creating works on AI. He's showing, look, I just made 70 works, boom, using AI. And you see here it's AI, and then other parts were not. So he's also exporting between AI, so, reminiscent of Sky Goodman. So I've always felt in my kind of heart of hearts, this is kind of where the promised land is with AI, is incorporating it as an element. But I mean, there's just so many different possibilities. We could go on. And this is just interesting tweet also while we're on Sabato here. Speaking of art on ordinals, Empress is inscribing magic glitch beans too. Love this. So here, again, remember ordinals is the Bitcoin NFT thing. So people continue to work with Bitcoin ordinals. So just kind of interesting. And here's a work. So I'm just kind of watching this space. It's tempting to also do something like that because Bitcoin could be around for a very, very long time, potentially. Now, this is, again, so we have Ed Marola here, mints first work on Foundation. And then we also see, which is coming up, a work by GloomTube. So these are kind of like what you might call classic, quote unquote, Tezos artists. So again, the timing is pretty interesting at how all these are coming out. And you just wonder, does this have anything to do? Is there kind of like, I was mentioning last show, like Tezos and Object, more specifically, Object needs to be careful here because things can move quickly. As far as if people get turned off, let's say, by the Object One platform and the curation feeling, oh, okay, now it's a walled garden and I have to be invited. Maybe I don't want to have to maybe I just go to Foundation to mint my work. Maybe I'm getting more money for it anyway because people are used to paying more on ETH. And so you see 3 artists here. And I mean, Sabato was minted on Ethereum before, but it's pretty significant and sold 0.15 ETH. Pretty cool work, by the way. Really cool. It's fun just to look at Ed Marola work in the context of Foundation or of Ethereum. It just does give it a kind of different sheen to the work. And so anyway, pretty interesting. And here's GloomTube, and sold for 0.22, really actually a low price for GloomTube. But when you compare it to what he would get on Tezos, he's charging 300 to 400, Tezos a work. I'm as far as I recollect, I mean, he's getting the same amount of money, if not maybe even, a little more. So about the same amount, and I didn't even see this, like probably a lot of people missed it. This could have went for more money. So Meltdown by GloomTube. So I don't know how much to read into this, but I would say it's significant that in the aftermath of Object One launch, all of a sudden you have 3 kind of prominent Tezos artists minting on Foundation. So interesting. Could be totally accidental. And then it kind of, remember this work, this was minted, and it kind of and I'm probably reading too much into it, and I don't want to read too much into it, but it does kind of put a new spin on this Tezos tourist admit one. It makes you wonder, and then he mints a work, GloomTube mints a work on Foundation, like around the same time. So you can start reading into that. And nevertheless, there's a new work by GloomTube on Tezos, remote viewing. Again, this is kind of like, I think Art Bell and Coast to Coast AM from back in the day, the remote viewers who are these mysterious guys who claim to look into the future, but it was always unclear as to how it happened. I mean, if anybody knows, feel free to leave a comment on remote viewing. It's like this weird kind of, it's almost like ghosts in my universe. It's kind of one of these weird just parts of the internet. So this seems to be a reference to that. And this, GloomTube character is remote viewing into what seems to be the bigger world out there. So anyways, all sorts of interesting stuff. Lighter, almost a hat tip to Dan Control, but who knows? Continuing on, how are we doing for time here? Good. Crash, Yuri J. So a new work on Super Rare. Pretty cool work. A reference, echoes of Warhol and G.G. Ballard's novel Crash, in my mind, hit right away, but also with just interesting perspective, and kind of feels like a pop artwork in terms of its composition, because it's kind of a bunch of things that are kind of blended together, yet they all share a space, don't they? And so anyways, a car on its side, and I like how loosely painted the hubcaps are, but then kind of carefully painted car around it. Nice work. 0.3 ETH on Super Rare from Yuri J. No bids yet. Kurt Hustle Collective. So we got this preview here, Computer Learning with Percy. Quite a nice actual screenshot here, or screen or piece, composition. And then we got the actual piece, so we'll show part of it. Classic KHC. Seems to be referencing the World Wide Web in the 90s.
Hello, I'm Percy. Today we're going to be learning about the internet and how to get online. But I can't do this alone, so I'm going to ask help from my good old friend Flicker.
So we can't play too much of this.
Can you tell me what the internet is?
The internet.
So you see it's like an infomercial.
Internet provider of the internet to tour the internet with a video professor. She
So-
is new to the internet too.
Totally awesome. Totally awesome. I want to show more, but copyright issues, I think they're cool if I show more, but I also got to run to a passport appointment that you simply cannot be late for. Haiti Rocket. Nin Nin Nan Nan. So anyways, new work from Haiti, again, minted on Taya. Here's another artist I'd love to see, I'm sure he's released work on Foundation. I mean, it'd be interesting to see that. Glitchtown Arcade has put some glitch ROMs on Foundation. So anyways, interesting. Ramp Rat, so another one that I missed the other day. So again, playing with Nintendo video games and glitching them out, disrupting them, basically. And here is a cool skateboarding one. So really just very good at this sort of thing. Not a bad price, frankly, 14 Tezos for an edition of 19. This is a gorgeous work by Tom Bombadil with the gift gallery. A wonderful hike. I thought this was, I love the color. And it looks like there is snow, and you can even see a cool little animation with the trees. So it's pretty windy out there. And you have these two hikers in the foreground. Pretty nice composition and a nice rendering of the clouds, and even this interesting, mysterious kind of sparkling part. And there's again the signature, interesting blue frame. So very cool work. I'm surprised this hasn't sold out. 10 Tezos from Tom Bombadil and Gift Gallery. This was pretty cool. Showadot. And we'll show the open edition that Showadot has. But I guess some ramen. I thought this was just a really nice pixel artwork. I didn't see it minted anywhere. I looked, and there's a cool signature there too. I think with pixel art, it's easier to do the signature, but I'm sure this would sell wherever you put it. Here's the open edition by Showadot, and this is available for 18 more hours. It's only 0.016 ETH, and let's just see if there's any volume on this thing. There is not. So anyways, pretty cool little Japanese, I assume, animation there. Interesting piece. So very nice. And Michael Micasso, I overcome my fear of failure, pushing through until I figure out what to do as my hands drew. I once had this line that came to me, I follow the music that my pen makes on this paper. I overcome my fear of failure, pushing through until I figure out what to do as my hands drew. Exactly. So sometimes you just have to start doing stuff to figure out what to do. So kind of a word of wisdom there, I would say. If you ever have writer's block or, artist block, just start making lines and things will happen. Interesting new piece, it looks like, too. Interesting colors. He compares it, interestingly, to Gate here. One of his masterpieces, I'd argue. So interesting. Color-wise, it's still not as complex as Gate, but I felt like I'm improving on other things, particularly softer and subtler on the new ones. I'd agree with that. Also a work by mech.txt. This is an edition of 88, so just a smaller composition of what looks like a tree in the snow. part of a series called Footnotes, which I assume are going to be smaller pieces, 90 by 90 in this case. And another one, a 1 of 1 by MechTXT. What happened here? Nothing yet as far as auctions. And it looks like a chili in the skull. So yeah, kind of a mysterious series for me. I never quite understood, but it's pretty cool. For sure. Look at this gorgeous piece by Manidal. Continuing with the Cat Tarot. And this is just, I love the color. Don't you just love these colors? And there's a cat sphinx, it seems, and the Wheel of Fortune. The 10th tarot card serves as a constant reminder that life is an ever-changing wheel. It appears to convey the idea that life consists of both happy and bad periods and that we are powerless over the cycle. No one on earth can escape what is fated. It is something that both monarchs and laborers must deal with. Yes, as Shakespeare says, I wouldn't trade my state with kings. So anyways, very cool work from Manidal. Here's The Hermit by Manidal. Also, so we saw the still version on Twitter, and here is a moving version, and we see the aurora in the background there, which seems to be a creative addition, but I'm not positive on that. The Hermit, the 9th tarot card, indicates the desire for some quiet reflection and seclusion, generally denotes that you're beginning a phase of introspection, self-reflection, and spiritual enlightenment. You might find that you need time by yourself to develop a deeper awareness of who you are, to get away from the daily grind in order to uncover your actual spiritual self, to reflect on your existence, your course in life, or your ideals. The Hermit also represents withdrawing inside oneself to heal after a trying time. Well, it's a beautiful work regardless. 8 Tezos. Gogolitis is collaborating with Joy K1D, and I believe we looked at Joy K1D's art earlier. It's a pretty cool collaboration. I like how, this looks like 64 by 64 or something, maybe even 32. It looks great. Very cool solution where you just make little frames, and then it looks like Joy K1D is filling in the frames here. Pretty cool. Another kind of interesting comment. This is from Rada. Original size and the unlimited magnification of pixel art. So here's a compilation of Rada's works, and we get these great, zoom ins. Like, look at how great this is. And this is actually, I think I brought this up. Did you know you can scale pixel art in any size without losing quality? And so Rada shares how you do that, which is a technique in Photoshop. Just change the image size and select resample option nearest neighbor. And we'll look at the screenshot in a second. Depending on the printer technology, you may want to change the image mode to CMYK. Any questions? I'm here to help. So that's awesome, Rada. And this is where you do it in the image size. Nearest neighbor is what you select. And yeah, this is how you make pixel art big. So Rada helping the community with this beautiful, this looks like Cosmo, judging by the colors here. Great sky, so just more awesome pixel art. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention this, and I'm very proud to mention this. Rada, attention, Tezos collectors, our favorite art show is on. Thanks again to Pocobelli for so delightful insights. My pleasure, Rada. Big shout out. And yeah, thrilling to get tweets like that. How are we doing? 10:20. We're continuing to run here. Look at this, Demon Ego. I had not seen Demon Ego's work on Tezos, which is a little different. Again, it's back to this idea of different blockchains bringing out different kinds of series and works. So this is pretty cool. So Demon Ego, I had no idea. This is a new one, and there's only an edition of 10 and sold out at 15 Tezos. And yeah, I think pretty gorgeous work. And these are other ones from Demon Ego. So I started following, because I remember this work. You might remember it, but maybe these are just new works then. Undefined Disorders is the series. So anyways, they're going for a lot of money too. Interesting. Cap'n and Muji. So interesting, not worrying, kind of reminiscent a little bit of Edmarola, and not worrying about the pixels being super crisp here. So interesting. Although, maybe they need Rada's advice there with nearest neighbor, but I doubt it. I think these guys know what they're doing. Created using GIMP and Deluxe Paint 2. Anyways, it looks great. 11 Tezos, edition of 22. Still available on Primary. And also gift gallery with Kota Nakazono. Nissan number 1. So this is pretty cool too. So gift gallery, I don't know too much about them. I think I follow them. Let's just take a quick look. Oh, I don't. Now I do. And yeah, so interesting collaborations here with gift gallery. So not sure what they're up to, but cool name, that's for sure. And continuing on, here's Joy K1D. So Stellar Cloud, so now we remember the artist. So yeah, so that's very cool. Very good solution there on Gogolitus's work there to just leave open windows for Joy K1D, Joy Kid maybe, to put the abstractions in. This is Klaus, who we've been looking at, just sold a work on, oh cool, on Foundation. I guess it has some music. Pretty cool. So you see, like, we're halfway through here. We're halfway through, but we're going fast. I mean, there's so much good work. And wait till you see the illustration section. I almost like moved everything, but I have a passport appointment. Lorna Mills, Diva by Blood. So playing, I think she was playing with the balloons before. So that's interesting to see her kind of explore one theme. Explore a theme a little bit that's kind of more just specific. Interesting colors too. Dr. Version GM. So more pyramids with Dr. Version. So let's see what happens here, but looking very cool and original. So pretty cool, GM, Dr. Version. So again, I think he's going to mint on Foundation, is what he was saying in our last spaces. Bahram Armandia, Moulin Rouge Abstract 26. Let's see if there's any volume here. I don't think so. See if it loads up. There are different colors on this, so here we go. It's kind of glitchy. Let's see if we can get this going. I'm going to let that load up while I look at the next piece here. Sony Handycam. I think Sabato retweeted this. And again, Sabato is a great follow. So just a kind of wild rendition of a video camera from basically 25 years ago, I would argue. This looks like something my dad would have had, yeah, circa 2005. So that's a funny one. And here we go. So this is now working. Moulin Rouge, Bahram. So yeah, kind of just an interesting piece here. A lot of flashing. And a lot of flashing there too. Here's another piece, Anonymous. And this sold for 3.75 ETH. Kind of has a Rip Cash feel to it, doesn't it? So interesting. A lot of money. 0 times art. 101 artwork by 0x. So interesting. This could be a pretty renowned artist that I don't know anything about. This is on Foundation. You know, at some point, we're going to have to dig up the sales. And with this Foundation Worlds, I want to see how Foundation sales are going and then compare them within the larger context of the NFT scene. Joni B, another artist who I've very early found on Tezos. Cool, 1 of 1. The Nothingness. Just nice, simple work. Yeah, cool artist. Nothing is not something, not anything, no nothing. Nothing is not nothing. Nothing is nothing, not nothing, nothing. All right, well, let me just stop that. Cool work by Bidala. Again, I can't remember who, it could have been Sabato who retweeted this. It could have been someone else. It's a cool work though, isn't it? Just kind of an original illustration as we kind of find our way into the illustrations section. Cat in the Rain. Pretty cool. 275 edition of 25. This was also a pretty cool illustration here. It's almost tempting to see AI as a source for this and then maybe traced AI, but who knows? I hope you have a beautiful Friday. I've been working for a long time on getting my poetry book published and out into the world and finishing up the artwork now, making final adjustments. Pretty good looking work there. So that is Jess Duja. Very cool. And look at this. I mean, again, we're spoiled for talent here. It's at Udo66. And another beautiful work, this one is minted on super rare, the Doom Portal, Uyo 66, and no bids yet. This piece is about nostalgia, imagination, and memories from when I was a kid playing arcade games with my friends. It was a very amazing and unforgettable time. Yeah, nostalgia is powerful, isn't it? So that is pretty fun work, and just trademark Uyo 66. And another artist that I haven't seen before, Bujang Carton, who has this Copy Mouse series. This is on Solana, on Form Function. And so just kind of interesting series here. Let's see if we can get... I brought up other pieces. And so they're selling for about 0.7, which is maybe, $15, I'm assuming these days. So just kind of interesting series here. And Form Function continues. There we go. Yeah, so pretty cool, kind of fun. It's not too derivative of Mickey Mouse. Like, you can tell there's like a Mickey Mouse feeling to it, but it's totally got its own thing. Yeah, it looks like it's using old Mickey Mouse stills or something, but really nicely done, I'd say, making it their own. Debbie T. So this was, I believe, a work for to raise funds for Turkey and Syria, the earthquake, and just a really interesting work here. So just interesting writing, this kind of maze, and Chris Debbie T is just like an awesome illustrator. And what was interesting, this is a give. So this finished minting, and actually let's just look at how many. 18 were minted at 0.03, and you gotta love the music notation there. And what else is cool? Just a reminder that there will be a giveaway for this artwork, and the winning collector will receive this brand new, customized Anabernic RG35XX 64 gigabyte protective case installed with Garlic OS painted by. So it looks like a Game Boy or something, which is pretty rad. That's drawn on, and so I think if you bought one of these editions here, you would be entered in to win this. So I'm almost back to this. One of the revolutions of the whole NFT space, and I think part of the reason it's thriving is because of the sales, the way you can sell things. And we're seeing that with the Foundation World's curated spaces that anybody can do. And now, here's just the burn mechanic. I think that's part of what is making this thrive. Because if nobody was making any money, I don't think we'd be thriving in the same way. And I think that's just self-evident, isn't it? I think there would be work, but not quite in the same way. Again, you see, look at how many works. This is just since Friday. Complex, finished making my pancakes. So another kind of beautiful piece here. Interesting composition. It looks like this is the person has the fork and knife and is ready to dig in as maybe a waiter puts some syrup on there. So interesting. Another interesting illustration here. I'm really going to have to speed up here. Blessed. This is by Erinu Frosina. So this went for 100 Tezos. So, artist I haven't seen before. Kind of looks like there might be some AI, but maybe not. Maybe just a nice illustration. So pretty nice. This reminds me of Saskatchewan and Saskatoon. So shout out to my mom if she is watching. This is kind of like our backyard in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan by Trey Gannar, who we were looking at just the other day, past blizzard. Just changed the car, and that is our backyard. So that was quite something to see. And Dana Ulama, right? So with these stunning works, and part of it I wanted to show the works themselves, which are stunning. But look at the amount of views she's getting. 40,000 on this one. And look at the next one, this Good Morning, this new Subway work, 136,000. So I'm kind of back to that Robness V2 idea, that NFT artists are the next rock stars. 136,000 views. That is quite something. So super interesting. A few works by Flora Marquez. Again, playing with this new color scheme. March has been awesome. I get bored sometimes. And another here's a mermaid. I embrace the environment to subsist. And another one, awesome cloud with a face in it. Again, just kind of got this 1890s, almost Mr. Punch, I think you call it, sort of feel to it. So all these awesome one-of-ones. Kristen Roos uses a lot of vintage software. And here's just a really cool abstract in an open edition. So 30 minted so far for 5 Tezos. And MCHX with some interesting new works here. I'm not sure if they are different every time you load them. I think they are. So test and test 2. I think if you reload this, shall we test? I think you get a different work. We shall see. Yeah, see? So pretty interesting, interactive token, and then you click on it. Okay, this is a whole genre in itself, interactive art. Sirvan Hamidi, up and down, a new, just an interesting abstract work here. It's so big that it's kind of hard to see, but kind of just good-looking abstract. And Amelia Versace with another abstract, Individual C, so also interesting. And continuing on, and shout out to Don't Be So Vasya, said some really nice things the other day. And I don't know if I've shown this. I feel like I may have shown this, but in case I didn't, I wanted to show this. Just a really cool, what looks like AI and digital painting. So this was minted on February 23rd, sold for very low price, 0.07 ETH for a 1 of 1. So anyway, I'm not sure if we looked at this already, but if we haven't, it's pretty cool. Kind of goes well with Varya, doesn't it? This sold for 0.12, and this is quite nice too. Recent Varya work, again, combining AI and digital painting. It's looking great, and these are selling, again, I find quite cheap. Reserve of 0.12, there's a new one, Shepherd's Delight. So always interesting as we move into the AI section. Look at Tukes, a new one on super rare, Consequences of Obsession. So again, these stunning colors that Tukes, great technique using the AI there. Half a ETH reserve. That'll be interesting to watch. Look at Strange Thing, 2 million plays. 2 million views on Instagram AI fashion post today. Trying to stay humble, but I'm proud as hell right now. And so that is impressive. And here's a work by Strange Thing that just sold for 2 ETH on Foundation. Again, Foundation, Foundation is creeping into this show, isn't it? It's pretty interesting. So really cool. A lot of work is vertical, I think, because of the phone. And feel free to disagree with me, but I think there's not that many horizontal works. I find it's less common. So anyways, this is a really nice one, kind of a Renaissance painting with a Coke machine and Nike shoes in them. And you could actually do this. Like, I know my size in Nike. This is a doable thing, interestingly. So 2 ETH. Sky Goodman with another work on basketball theme and doing a lot of exporting. Looks like there's some AI. What does he say here? Or what would they say? I'm giddy because for the first time in what seemed like a couple of months, my feed has fixed itself and I'm seeing my community again. Hope you can see me too. So big shout out to Sky Goodman. Check it out. This is going to be part of a camp event that Mikey Wilson is putting on. So anyway, glad they can continue to make beautiful work. Lily Illo and WizardCon collaborating. So this looks like a Lily Illo work. Big shout out to Lily. Thank you for joining the spaces again last week, Lily, in the middle of the night, and just a cool AI work called Wanting Queen. And also, People of Tezos is coming out. And so Mopi Wellington, I think I'm going to have one of these. I sent one in, and I think it's going to be out. And so they're super cool, People of Tezos. And there are some new ones coming out. So here's Mopi Wellington's People of Tezos. And here, of course, I think a lot of us recognize the Shilly Preston with the Fidenza. So that is cool. Fidenza Village there, and the guy made of Fidenzas. And here's Xerox with a super cool one. Really nice, interesting piece here from Xerox. And a couple of AI works by Zoom, 1 of 1s for only 50 Tezos. So some of the rooms here, here's another one. And yeah, it's also for 50 Tezos. Still available. Ilay, who could show in the same room as Zoom, Skull, Apples, and Banana. So another Memento Mori, I believe, with some retro computers and a skull on a big iMac here. So that is cool. And Skomra with another beautiful work here. Looks like AI with beautiful colors. So interested to see. I don't know where Skomra is minting these things, but interesting. And look at this. we have Maria Amadova with this magazine, M-I-N-A, Mina Art Magazine. So that is cool. The cover looks great. You know, so I think a lot of magazines are soon going to be using AI, if not already. Walk posted this. Looks like Walk has a show, and this looks awesome. This looks like it's spray painted onto a wall. So it looks like 9/11. So anyway, it's just powerful work again from Walk. And here's Tony Wallstrom with a physical work. This space is crazy inspiring and have opened my eyes to many new things, met amazing humans, and I've really started to believe that art could be my profession. You know, I think a lot of people feel that who didn't feel that before. I think a lot of us feel that. So that is pretty exciting. Tony Wallstrom, nice physical work. And a couple of more, Book NFT, War Pastels, oil pastel on paper. So nice physical work here, courtesy of the NFT scene. And here's another one, Die with the Most Likes, Inhale Your Adoration. So an edgy work with a guy snorting likes off his phone or her phone. And anyway, nice painting from Die with the Most Likes. Very nice painting. And finally, another one from JHNS. This almost looks like Narcissus looking in the water, right? Never saw you that way. Beautiful oil on canvas work. I assume this is JHNS here, working on a piece. So just a Instagram discovery here. Very cool. Looks like there's a show in, maybe it's Johanna Seidel, and a show which looks like maybe in Korea. Not sure. Not sure what country. And that is your show, everyone. I am off to get my passport. Thank you for watching again, and thank you for all the support, and keep making that incredible artwork. Until next time, take care.